They laughed when Vivian Cross threw the files at her face. 15 lawyers in tailored suits, watching a 24-year-old girl pick up scattered papers from the floor with shaking hands. They called her scholarship trash, invisible,
What was that?
worthless. But one wrong
I need
number,
to get out of here.
one cracked screen, one voice in the dark.
The situation is
In
more
10
dire than we
days,
thought.
Serafina Winters
What do you
would
mean?
make them all
Tell
kneel.
us
This is how
everything.
it began.
We must act now.
The conference room
You
on the
hugged. Let me
14th floor
see.
of Hastings Law
nothing,
Firm smelled
just a
like
scratch.
expensive
You
cologne and
always
older
say
money.
that.
And I always mean it.
Serafina Winters stood by the door, arms full of case files, trying to become part of the wall. Invisible. That was the trick. If you were invisible, they couldn't hurt you. It was Thursday, November 14th, 2:17 in the afternoon. She remembered the exact time because she was staring at the clock when Vivian Cross walked in. Vivian wore Chanel. Black suit, red-soled heels that clicked like a countdown. Her blonde hair was pulled back so tight it looked painful. Everything about Vivian Cross looked expensive. Everything about her screamed power. She was 43 years old, senior partner. The woman who controlled which associates made partner and which ones disappeared into the jobless void of Seattle's legal market. Serafina was 24. Legal assistant, 2 years at this firm. Salary, $2,800 a month before taxes. Student loan debt, $87,000. Hope, fading daily. Vivian stopped in front of her. You. Serafina looked up. Her heart started that familiar rapid drumbeat, fight or flight, but there was nowhere to run in a 14th floor conference room. Yes, Miss Cross? Vivian held out a stack of files. No. Threw them, not at her hands, at her face. The folders hit Serafina's cheek. Papers exploded into the air. A slow-motion burst of white. Contracts, briefs, depositions. They scattered across the polished mahogany table. Some slid to the floor. 15 lawyers sat frozen. Witnesses, silent jury. These are garbage, Vivian said. Her voice was cold, controlled. The kind of cold that burned worse than fire. Inaccurate citations, sloppy formatting. Did you even read the Sanderson case before filing this motion? Serafina's face burned. The papers had left a red mark on her cheekbone. She could feel it throbbing. I followed the template you provided. Don't talk back to me. Vivian's eyes were ice chips, blue and frozen. You are here because this firm felt charitable. Scholarship trash doesn't get to make excuses. Scholarship trash. The words hung in the air. Heavy, ugly. One of the junior partners coughed. Uncomfortable. But no one said anything. No one ever said anything. Serafina bent down, started picking up papers. Her hands were shaking. She hated that they were shaking. Hated that everyone could see. Vivian's heel stepped on one of the documents, right next to Serafina's hand. Faster, Vivian said. Serafina pulled the paper out from under that red-soled shoe. She didn't look up, didn't meet anyone's eyes, just gathered the papers, one by one, while 15 lawyers pretended to check their phones. When she finally stood, arms full of crumpled files, Vivian had already moved to the head of the table. The rest of you, Vivian said, addressing the real lawyers, the ones who mattered. Let's discuss the Merrick acquisition. Serafina walked out. The door clicked shut behind her. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall, pressed her forehead to the cool surface, breathed. 1, 2, 3. Her phone buzzed. Text from Marlo Valencia. Coffee after work? You sound like you need it. Serafina hadn't texted her today, but Marlo always knew. She typed back with numb fingers. Yes. God, yes. Seattle in November was a study in gray. Gray sky, gray rain, gray pavement reflecting gray clouds. The city felt like it was dissolving into mist. Serafina sat across from Marlo at the small coffee shop on Pine Street, the one with the chipped mugs and the barista who knew their orders by heart. Black coffee for Sarah, vanilla latte for Marlo. Marlo Valencia was 26, nurse at Harborview Medical Center, dark curly hair pulled back in a messy bun, scrubs under her winter coat. She looked tired. 12-hour shifts did that, but her eyes were sharp, focused. She was studying Serafina's face. She hit you with files again. Not a question, a statement. Serafina touched her cheek. The red mark had faded, but Marlo could always tell. In front of 15 people this time. Marlo's jaw clenched. You need to quit. And go where? Serafina wrapped her hands around the coffee mug. Warmth, something real. I have $87,000 in student loans. Nobody's hiring legal assistants right now. I checked. There are other firms. Vivian has connections everywhere. You know that. Serafina took a sip. Bitter. Hot. Perfect. She'll blacklist me. I'll end up serving coffee instead of drinking it. Marlo leaned forward. You're worth more than this. You know that, right? Serafina didn't answer because the truth was she didn't know. After 2 years of being called scholarship trash, of picking up papers off the floor, of being invisible unless someone needed a target, she honestly didn't know what she was worth anymore. Her phone buzzed. Work email. Even at 6 in the evening, they owned her. She checked it. Vivian Cross. File the amended Sanderson brief by 9 a.m. tomorrow. No excuses. It was a 4-hour job, at least, and it was already 6 o'clock. Marlo saw her face. What? I have to go back to the office. Sarah! I know. She stood, left a $5 bill on the table. I'll text you later. Outside, the rain had started again. Of course it had. The parking garage under the Hastings building was empty at 11:43 p.m. Serafina knew the exact time because she was staring at her phone screen, watching the minutes tick past midnight. The Sanderson brief was done. 4 hours and 27 minutes of reformatting citations and fixing Vivian's deliberately vague instructions. It was perfect now. Vivian would still find something wrong. Serafina walked to her car, a 2016 Honda Civic with a dent in the passenger door and a crack in the windshield. The car was older than some of the interns. She got in, turned the key, click. Nothing. She tried again. Click, click, click. No. The battery was dead, or the starter, or something expensive she couldn't afford to fix. Serafina dropped her forehead to the steering wheel. Of course. Of course this was happening tonight. She pulled out her phone, checked her bank account. $543 until payday. Towing and a mechanic would cost at least $300. She needed to get home. Her apartment in Capitol Hill was 45 minutes by bus, but the buses stopped running in 20 minutes. Uber. She'd take an Uber. She opened the app, typed her address, surge pricing. $47. She closed her eyes, opened them. $47 or sleep in her car. She hit confirm. The screen glitched. Rain had gotten into the crack that spiderwebbed across the glass. The crack she'd gotten 3 days ago when she dropped it rushing to Vivian's office. The number that appeared wasn't the Uber driver. It looked wrong. Too many digits, a strange area code, maybe international. But she was exhausted, cold, desperate. She pressed call. The phone rang. Not the normal ring, a deeper tone. Like a cello string being drawn slowly across the bow. It resonated in her chest, made her ribs vibrate. Someone answered, not with hello, with a single word. Report. The voice was male, deep, smooth, like aged whiskey, but with an edge underneath, sharp, dangerous. It wasn't a greeting, it was a command, the voice of someone used to being obeyed instantly. Serafina's mouth went dry. Hello? Is this the rideshare? Who is this? Again, not a question, a demand. I think I have the wrong number. Your name. The temperature in the car seemed to drop. Serafina could see her breath. I'm sorry, I need to go. Serafina. She froze. He said her name, her full name. Not Sarah. Serafina, the name only her mother used. Her mother, who had been dead for 20 years. How do you know my name? Her voice came out as a whisper. You are standing in a parking garage. Level 2, near the southeast stairwell. Your heart is beating 110 times per minute. You are cold. Afraid. Serafina spun around, looked through the rain-streaked windows. Empty. The garage was empty. Are you watching me? I don't need to watch you to see you, Serafina. I'm calling the police. The man laughed. It was a dark sound, no humor in it, just something cold and amused. The police report to the mayor. The mayor answers to the city council. The city council answers to the corporations. The corporations answer to me. Call them if you wish. Serafina's thumb hovered over the end call button. Who are you? Silence, and then, you called me. You dialed a number that should not exist, a frequency that most humans cannot hear without permanent damage. Yet your call connected. That makes you very interesting, Serafina, or very dangerous. I didn't mean to. Do not hang up. It wasn't a request. It was an order. And something in that voice made her hand freeze. If you disconnect this call, he continued, voice dropping lower, you forfeit protection you don't yet know you need. You stumbled into something ancient. You cannot simply step back into ignorance. What are you talking about? Seattle is not what you think it is. There are things that move in the dark, things that have been here since before the fire of 1889, Things that would very much like to meet someone with your particular resonance. You're insane. Am I? Am I? Then explain why your phone connected to a number with 13 digits. Explain why you can hear this frequency without your eardrums bleeding. Explain why you feel that vibration in your chest like a second heartbeat. She did feel it, the resonance, like the phone was humming at a frequency that matched something inside her. What do you want from me? Nothing yet. A pause. But I am sending a car. Do not take the bus. Do not walk. Wait for the car. I'm not getting into some strangers. The line went dead. Serafina stared at her phone. The screen showed call ended. Duration, 3 minutes, 42 seconds. The number wasn't in her call history. She tried to redial. The number she'd called didn't exist. Error message. Her hands were shaking again, but not from cold this time. From fear. She got out of her car, locked it, started walking toward the stairs. She'd call Marlo, sleep on her couch, forget this ever happened. Her phone buzzed. Bank notification. Deposit received $500,000. Sender, Kane Sovereign Trust. Memo, retainer. Serafina stopped walking, stared at the screen. 500,000. The numbers were there. Real, in her account. Another buzz. Text message, unknown number. You will need a new phone. The screen is compromised. And a new coat. The one you are wearing will not be sufficient for what is coming. Do not be afraid, Serafina. From this moment forward, you are mine. She looked up. At the garage entrance, a black limousine was pulling in. Not a normal limo, a Maybach, the kind that costs more than most houses. The windows were tinted black, dark as oil. As it glided past her, heading to the lower level, the rear window rolled down. Just an inch. She couldn't see a face. Just the glow of a lit cigarette. And eyes. Eyes that reflected the garage lights with a luminescence that wasn't quite human. Silver, like moonlight on water. The car disappeared around the corner. Serafina ran for the stairs. She didn't sleep that night. She sat on her apartment floor, back against the wall, staring at her phone. The money was still there, $500,000. She'd checked 17 times. She'd called the bank. Chase on Pike Street. The manager, a tired-sounding woman named Patricia, confirmed, "Yes, Ms. Winters, the transfer is legitimate, cleared through an offshore holding company. Kane Sovereign Trust, based in the Cayman Islands. Is there a problem?" Serafina had hung up. Now it was 4 in the morning. Still dark outside. Still raining. Marlo was asleep on the couch. She'd come over at 1 a.m. when Serafina called. Panicked. She'd listened to the whole story, the call, the voice, the money. She'd said, "So either you won the lottery in the creepiest way possible, or you accidentally called a very rich stalker. Which would you prefer?" "Rich stalker. At least then we can call the FBI." But they both knew Serafina wouldn't call the FBI because that money was real. And real money solved real problems. $87,000 in student loans, rent that ate half her paycheck, a dead car battery. $500,000 solved all of that. Serafina picked up her phone again. Read the text message for the 30th time. "From this moment forward, you are mine." What did that mean? Her phone buzzed. New message. Same unknown number. "You are trying to decide whether to keep the money. Allow me to make this simple. I do not give gifts I expect returned. The money is yours. No strings, no debts. But I would like to meet you properly. Dinner, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. A car will collect you at 7:45. The address is attached." An attachment loaded. A location pin, Kane Tower, downtown Seattle, 68th floor. She stared at it. Another message. "You may bring your friend if it makes you feel safer. Marlo Valencia, age 26, registered nurse at Harborview. I promise you both safe passage." He knew about Marlo. Serafina looked at her friend sleeping on the couch, curly hair falling across her face. Peaceful. She typed back, "How do you know about her?" The response was immediate. "I know many things, Serafina. I have lived in this city longer than you can imagine. I know its bones, its secrets, its people. You are not the first Winters I have encountered, but you are by far the most interesting." "What do you mean, not the first Winters?" "Tomorrow, 8 p.m., I will explain everything. And if I don't come, then you will spend the rest of your life wondering what you are, and why you could hear a frequency designed to shatter human eardrums, and why your voice makes my blood sing in a way it has not in 300 years. 300 years. She should block this number. Delete these messages, return the money. She should do all of those things. Instead, she typed, "I'll be there." The response? "I know." Friday was a blur. Serafina went to work, submitted the Sanderson brief. Vivian didn't say thank you, didn't say anything, just moved on to the next impossible task. At lunch, Serafina didn't eat. She sat in the bathroom stall with her laptop, using the firm's Wi-Fi to research. Dominic Kane. The search results were extensive and bizarre. CEO of Kane Sovereign Trust. Estimated net worth, classified. The articles that mentioned him were vague. He owned properties across Seattle, tech infrastructure, Port Authority shares. Half the city council had accepted campaign donations from Kane-affiliated companies. But there were no photos, not one. Every article had either no image or a silhouette, a shadow. She tried social media. Nothing. Dominic Kane had no Facebook, no Instagram, no LinkedIn. She found older articles, historical society records. A Kane family had been in Seattle since before the Great Fire of 1889. They'd owned timber mills, shipping companies. They'd rebuilt the city after it burned. There was a reference to a Dominic Kane in a newspaper from 1924. Shipping magnate, but that would make him over 100 years old. Coincidence. Same name. Had to be. She kept digging, found a thread on a Reddit conspiracy board, someone asking about Kane Tower, why it had no windows above the 60th floor, why deliveries only happened after dark, why employees signed ND, as so strict they bordered on illegal. One comment, "My cousin worked there, quit after 2 weeks, said the place felt wrong, like the air was thicker, colder. She said she never saw the owner, but she heard him sometimes, walking the halls at 3 a.m. Another, Kane family are vampires. It's an open secret in old Seattle money circles. Don't laugh. Look into the historical records. Every generation, a Dominic Kane. Same name, same face in the few photos that exist. Some of those photos are 150 years apart." Serafina closed the laptop. Vampires, ridiculous. Except the voice on the phone, the way he'd known her heartbeat, the eyes in the parham reflecting light like an animal. 300 years, he'd said. She was going to dinner with either a lunatic or something impossible. Marlowe had agreed to come, safety in numbers. But she'd also made Serafina promise to share her location and text every 30 minutes. Now it was 7:45 p.m. Serafina stood in front of her bathroom mirror. She'd bought a new dress with a fraction of the deposited money. Simple. Black. Knee-length. She felt ridiculous, like she was dressing for a job interview with death. Marlowe was wearing jeans and a leather jacket. Practical. Ready to run. "You know this is insane, right?" Marlowe said. "I know." "We could still not go." "I know. But you want to know." Serafina met her own eyes in the mirror. "I need to know." A text message. "The car has arrived." They went downstairs. The Maybach was parked in front of her building, black, gleaming. The driver was a massive man in a suit, bald, expressionless. He opened the rear door without a word. Inside, the seats were leather, soft as butter. The interior smelled like rain and cedar and something else, something old. The driver got in, didn't speak, just started driving. Marlowe gripped Serafina's hand. "If this goes bad, we run, okay?" "Okay." But Serafina knew deep in her bones that if this went bad, running wouldn't help. They drove through downtown Seattle. The city lights blurred in the rain. Friday night crowds on the sidewalks. Normal people, living normal lives. Serafina felt like she was leaving that world behind. Kane Tower was a spike of black glass in the heart of the city. 70 floors, no windows above 60, just as the Reddit post had said. The car pulled into an underground garage. Private entrance. The driver opened the door, gestured to an elevator. They got out. The garage was empty except for a few cars, expensive ones, a vintage Rolls-Royce, a Tesla, a motorcycle that looked like it belonged in a museum. The elevator doors were polished black marble. They slid open silently. Inside, there was only one button, 68. Marlowe pressed it. The elevator rose, fast, smooth. Serafina's ears popped. "You okay?" Marlowe whispered. "No, me neither." The doors opened. The 68th floor was not an office. It was an apartment. No, a penthouse. The space was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seattle. The city spread out below like a circuit board. Rain streaked the glass. The interior was elegant, minimalist, dark wood floors, leather furniture, and artifacts everywhere. A sword mounted on the wall. Medieval. Crusader era, if Serafina had to guess. Paintings, old ones. Renaissance-style portraits in heavy frames. Books, shelves and shelves of books, leather-bound. Some looked like they'd been hand-copied before the printing press existed. And standing by the window, looking out at the rain, was a man. He turned. Dominic Kane. He was tall, 6'2", maybe 6'3". He wore a black suit, tailored perfectly, no tie. The collar of his white shirt was open at the throat. His face was carved from marble. Sharp cheekbones, strong jaw, pale skin that looked like it had never seen sunlight. His hair was black, short, perfectly styled, but it was his eyes that stopped her. Gray, storm cloud gray, deep and old and knowing. He looked 35, maybe 40, but his eyes looked ancient. "Serafina," he said. His voice was the same one from the phone, smooth, deep, dangerous. "Thank you for coming." He looked at Marlo. "Miss Valencia, I'm pleased you chose to accompany your friend. It speaks well of your loyalty." Marlo's hand tightened on Serafina's. "We can leave whenever we want, right?" Dominic smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Of course, the elevator is behind you. You may leave at any moment. I am not in the habit of keeping unwilling guests." He gestured to a dining table set for three. Crystal glasses, silver cutlery, candles. "Please sit. I imagine you have questions." Serafina found her voice. "That's an understatement." "Then let me begin with the simplest truth." Dominic walked to the table, pulled out a chair for her. "Old-fashioned manners. I am not human. I have not been human for a very long time. And you, Serafina Winters, are not entirely human either." Marlo made a sound. "Okay, we're leaving." But Serafina sat down because she needed to hear this. Needed to understand why her phone had connected to a number that shouldn't exist. Why her chest still vibrated with that strange resonance. Why looking at this impossible man, she felt like she was standing on the edge of a cliff, and instead of backing away, she wanted to jump. Dominic sat across from her. Marlo reluctantly sat beside Serafina. "What am I?" Serafina asked. Dominic poured wine, red, almost black. "You are what we call a caller, one who can speak the old language, the frequency that existed before human speech, the language of blood and bone, and the things that came before." "Vampires," Marlo said flatly. "You're saying you're a vampire." "That is one word for it. I prefer the term patron. But yes, I'm what your movies and books describe, with some inaccuracies." He sipped the wine. "Garlic does nothing. Crosses are meaningless. Sunlight is merely unpleasant, not fatal." "And you drink blood," Serafina said. "Yes. From people. From willing donors. I do not take unwilling blood. It tastes of fear and desperation. Quite unpleasant." Serafina's stomach turned. "This is insane." "Is it? You heard a frequency that shatters human eardrums. You received $500,000 from a man you've never met. You are sitting in a tower that exists in all public records but has no official occupants. What part of your reality this week has been sane?" He had a point. "Why me?" she asked. "Why did my call connect?" "Because you are a caller. Your bloodline carries the old language in its bones. When you dialed those numbers, when your voice spoke into the frequency, it resonated, it called to me, summoned me in a way. I didn't summon anything. I was trying to call an Uber." Dominic's lips quirked, almost a smile. "The universe has a sense of humor." "What do you want from me?" He set down his glass, leaned forward, his eyes locked on hers. "I want to keep you alive." Silence. "There are others," he continued. "Others who would very much like to find a caller. The last known caller was killed 70 years ago. They are rare, dangerous. Your voice, Serafina, if you knew how to use it, could command me to tear out my own heart, and I would have to obey." Marlo stood up. "Okay, that's it. We're done. Sarah, come on." But Serafina didn't move. "You're saying I could control you?" "Yes." "Then why would you want to keep me alive? Why not just kill me before I figure that out?" "Because I am very old, very tired, and very alone." His voice softened. For the first time, she heard something vulnerable underneath. "I have lived 347 years. I have built empires, destroyed enemies, controlled this city with an iron fist, and it means nothing. Because I am alone." He stood, walked to the window, looked out at the rain. "When you called me, Serafina, I felt something I have not felt in a very long time. Connection. Your voice resonated with something deep inside me. Not as a threat, as a possibility." "Possibility of what?" He turned. The city lights behind him made him a silhouette. Dark, powerful. that I might not have to be alone anymore. Serafina's heart was pounding, not from fear, from something else, something she didn't have a name for. Prove it, she said. Prove what? That I can control you. Prove you're telling the truth. Dominic walked back to the table, stopped in front of her, close enough that she could smell him. Rain and cedar and copper. Give me a command, he said softly. Anything, and I will obey if your intent is true. Serafina stood, met his eyes, those ancient storm-gray eyes. Kneel, she said. Dominic didn't move. She felt a flicker of disappointment. He was lying. This was all. You don't truly want me to kneel, he said. Your command has no intent behind it. You are testing, not commanding. A caller's power requires genuine will. Try again. Serafina thought, what did she want? What did she truly want in this moment? Truth. Tell me the truth, she said. Tell me if you mean me harm. This time she felt it. The resonance, the frequency building in her chest, traveling up her throat, vibrating in her words. Dominic's eyes widened, just slightly. And then he spoke. But it wasn't his choice. She could see the struggle, the way his jaw clenched, the way he fought it. But the words came anyway. I mean you no harm, Serafina Winters. I would burn this city to ash before I let anyone hurt you. Because you are the first person in 3 centuries to make me feel human again. And I will protect that. I will protect you, even from myself. The resonance faded. Dominic took a step back. He looked shaken. That was level 2 command. Most callers train for years before they can compel truth. I don't understand what's happening, Serafina whispered. You are waking up. Your blood remembers what your mind has forgotten. Marlowe grabbed Serafina's arm. We should go. Process this. Come back when... No. Serafina pulled free, looked at Dominic. I need to know everything. My parents, the Winters family. Why I can do this. Dominic nodded slowly. Then sit, and I will tell you a story. A story about New Orleans, 20 years ago, and 2 callers who loved each other so much, they faked their own deaths to save their daughter. Serafina's knees went weak. Marlowe caught her, helped her sit. What are you talking about? Serafina's voice cracked. Dominic sat across from her. His face was gentle now, almost sad. Your parents, Daniel and Celeste Winters, they are alive, Serafina. The world tilted. That's not possible. They died in a car accident when I was 4. They staged a car accident, paid off officials, created a death that would satisfy the council. What council? The European Council, the governing body of the supernatural world. They have one rule for callers, death. Your parents knew this, so they hid you. Changed your name from Celeste Serafina Winters Hart to simply Serafina Winters. Sent you to an aunt in Ohio and disappeared. Tears were streaming down Serafina's face. She didn't remember starting to cry. Where are they? Prague, being held by the council. They were discovered 3 years ago. They are alive, but not free. Why didn't they come back for me? Because the council threatened your life. If your parents ever contacted you, you would be executed. So they stayed silent, stayed imprisoned, to keep you safe. Marlowe was crying too now, hand over her mouth. Oh my God. Serafina stood, the chair scraped back. I want to see them. That is not possible yet. The council, I don't care about the council, her voice rose, and with it, that resonance. The air in the room vibrated, the wine glasses hummed. You tell me my parents are alive, imprisoned, and I'm supposed to just sit here? Serafina. Dominic stood, calm, steady. I understand your anger. But if you go charging into Prague with no training, no understanding of your power, you will die, and so will they. Then train me. That is exactly what I'm offering. How long? Weeks. Maybe months. Caller abilities require, I don't have months. I've lost 20 years already. Dominic stepped closer. Then we start now. Tonight. I will teach you everything I know, but you must trust me. I don't know you. No, but your blood knows mine. And when you commanded truth from me, you heard my heart. You know I will not harm you. Serafina looked at Marlowe, her best friend, her anchor to the normal world. Marlowe's face was wet with tears. It's your choice, Sarah. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. Serafina looked back at Dominic Kane, this impossible man, this vampire, this stranger who somehow felt familiar. If I do this, if I train with you, learn to use this power, you help me free my parents. Yes, you promise. I swear it, on my blood and my name. Serafina took a breath, felt the resonance in her chest, the frequency that connected her to him, to this new world, this dangerous, impossible world. She held out her hand. Then teach me. Dominic took her hand. His skin was cool, smooth, like marble. Welcome to the dark, Serafina Winters. From this moment forward, your life will never be the same. She didn't let go of his hand. Good, I was tired of the old one anyway. Outside, lightning flashed. Thunder rolled across Seattle like a declaration. The caller had awakened, and the city would never be the same. The first lesson was silence. Serafina stood in the center of Dominic's penthouse at 3 in the morning. Rain hammered the windows. The city below was a blur of light and water. Dominic circled her slowly, predator assessing prey, or teacher observing student. The line felt thin. Close your eyes, he said. She obeyed. The voice you used on me tonight, that was instinct, raw power, unrefined, dangerous. His footsteps stopped behind her, close. She could feel the cold radiating from him. A caller who cannot control their resonance is a loaded gun with no safety. You could command someone to stop breathing, and they would die before you realize what you'd done. Serafina's eyes snapped open. I would never. Intent doesn't matter if you cannot control the frequency. He moved in front of her, met her eyes. We start with silence. You must learn to feel the resonance without speaking it, to hold the power inside until you choose to release it. How? Breathe, listen, feel. For 3 hours, that was all they did. Breathe, listen, feel. Marlo had gone home at midnight, exhausted, promising to return tomorrow. But Serafina stayed, because somewhere in Prague, her parents were imprisoned, and every minute she wasted was a minute they suffered. By dawn, her head ached. Her throat was raw from the effort of holding back words that wanted to burst out. But she could feel it now. The resonance, like a second heartbeat, low and steady in her chest, waiting. Dominic handed her water. Enough for tonight. You need rest. I need to practice. And you will. For 10 days, intensive training. But if you burn out on day 1, you're useless to your parents. He was right. She hated that he was right. The car will take you home. Return at sunset tomorrow. Why sunset? Because I am stronger at night, and you will need me at my strongest. She wanted to argue, but exhaustion was pulling at her. She nodded. At the elevator, she turned. Dominic, he looked up from the book he'd picked up, ancient-looking, leather-bound. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Serafina. This path you've chosen, it ends in blood. Yours or someone else's. Be certain you're ready for that. The elevator doors closed. Day 2. Vocal exercises. Serafina stood on the penthouse balcony. 68 floors up. The wind was brutal, cold. It stole her breath. The old language, Dominic said, standing behind her, unaffected by the wind, is not about volume. It's about frequency and intention. Will. He placed his hand on her back, between her shoulder blades. His palm was cold even through her sweater. Speak, just your name. Serafina. Again, but feel the resonance. Let it build from here. His hand pressed slightly, right where her lungs expanded. From your core, not your throat. Serafina. This time something shifted. The word carried weight, substance. The rain around them seemed to pause, just for a fraction of a second. Dominic's hand dropped. Good. Again. They practiced for hours. Her name, simple words, commands without targets. Stop, come, stay, go. Each one she learned to layer with resonance, to make the word more than sound, make it a force. By the end of the session, her voice was hoarse, but powerful. Tomorrow, Dominic said, we tested on a subject. Who? Renfield, my driver. He has volunteered. The huge, terrifying man? He's quite gentle, actually, fond of classical music and gardening. Serafina couldn't picture that, but then again, a week ago she couldn't picture vampires. Day 3. Level 1 commands. Renfield stood in the center of the room. He was even more massive up close. 6'6", shoulders like a linebacker. But his eyes were kind. Don't worry, miss, he said. His voice was surprisingly soft. I've done this before. Can't hurt me. Serafina looked at Dominic. You're sure? He's immortal, vampire, lower tier but still unkillable by mortal means. The worst you can do is make him uncomfortable. She turned to Renfield, breathed, felt the resonance build. Raise your right hand. She layered it, pushed the frequency. Renfield's hand shot up, fast, involuntary. His eyes widened. Good, Dominic said. Release him. Serafina didn't know how. Panic flickered. Dominic's hand touched her shoulder. Speak the counter. Lower your hand. Lower your hand. Renfield's arm dropped. He rolled his shoulder. That was stronger than last week's trainee. Well done, miss. They practiced for 2 hours. Simple commands: sit, stand, walk, turn. By the end, Serafina could command Renfield to do complex movements. Dance, juggle invisible objects, touch his toes. It should have felt empowering. Instead, she felt sick. Because watching someone lose control of their body, even voluntarily, even in practice, it was horrifying. I don't like this, she told Dominic when Renfield left. Good, that means you have a conscience. The callers who enjoyed it were the ones the council rightfully feared. Is that why they kill callers? Because we're dangerous? Yes, but also because power makes people afraid, and fearful people destroy what they cannot control. Day 5, Level 2 commands. These are harder, Dominic explained. Level 1 is physical, Level 2 is mental, emotional. You're commanding thought, memory, truth. They were in his library, surrounded by books that smelled like dust and time and secrets. Try it on me, Dominic said. What if I hurt you? You won't. I'm old enough to resist if it goes wrong. Trikao. Serafina faced him, felt the resonance, pushed deeper this time. Tell me your greatest fear. The words left her mouth layered with power. Thick, heavy. Dominic's jaw clenched. His eyes darkened. He fought it. She could see the struggle. Then he spoke, and his voice was raw. My greatest fear is that I will exist for another 300 years, watching everyone I care about turn to dust. Alone, always alone until I forget what warmth feels like. The resonance broke. Silence filled the library. Dominic looked away. That was effective. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Yes, you did. You commanded truth, and you received it. He met her eyes again. Vulnerable, open. This is what Level 2 does. It strips away lies, defenses, leaves only raw honesty. Use it carefully. Serafina felt tears prick her eyes. You won't be alone. Won't I? Not while I'm here. Something shifted in his expression, softened. And how long will that be, Serafina? You're mortal. I'm not. In 60 years, you'll be gone, and I'll still be here, still alone. Then make me like you. The words tumbled out before she could stop them. Dominic went very still. You don't know what you're asking. I'm asking to not die, to have time, to save my parents and learn my power and not have to worry about running out of years. Immortality is not a gift, it's a curse. Says the man who's lived over 3 centuries. Exactly, he stepped closer. I have watched empires rise and fall, watched people I loved grow old and die, watched the world change until I barely recognized it. You think you want forever, but forever is a very long time to be hungry. Hungry? For blood, for warmth, for life. His eyes were intense now, storm gray and ancient. I have not felt warm in 347 years, Serafina. I have not felt the sun without pain, have not tasted food, have not slept without dreams of everyone I've killed to survive. You want that? I want to matter. I want time to save my parents. I want to not be fragile. Dominic reached out, slowly, giving her time to step back. She didn't. His hand cupped her face, cold fingers against warm skin. You already matter. You are the first person in 3 centuries to command my truth, to make me feel something other than emptiness. Don't throw away your humanity for immortality. It's a trade you'll regret. His thumb brushed her cheekbone, gentle, reverent. Then he dropped his hand and stepped back. Tomorrow, Level 3. Then your training will be complete. He left the room. Serafina stood there, heart pounding, chin still tingling where he'd touched her. She wasn't sure anymore if she was training to save her parents, or if she was falling for something impossible. Day 7. Everything changed. Serafina arrived at Kane Tower at sunset as usual, but Dominic wasn't alone. A man sat in one of the leather chairs. He was younger looking than Dominic, maybe late 20s in appearance. Blonde hair, scarred face. A white line ran from his left eyebrow to his jaw. He wore jeans and a leather jacket, motorcycle boots. Everything about him screamed dangerous. Serafina Winters, Dominic said. This is Lucian Drake, Alpha of the Cascade Pack. Werewolf. She didn't need to be told. She could feel it. The energy coming off him was different from Dominic's cold power. This was heat, wild, barely contained. Lucian stood, extended a hand. Heard a lot about you. She shook it. His grip was firm, warm, human temperature. From who? From the witch who's been asking about you all over the city. Serafina looked at Dominic. What witch? Dominic's face was carved stone. Morgana Ash. She knows you exist, and she's looking for you. Fear prickled down Serafina's spine. Who is she? Lucian sat back down. A very old, very pissed-off witch who has a vendetta against the Kane family, and who would love to get her hands on a collar. Dominic poured 3 glasses of something dark. Whiskey, maybe. He handed one to Serafina. She took it, needed it. Morgana has been gathering power for months, Dominic said. My intelligence network reported unusual activity. Shadow creatures, blood magic. But we didn't know her target until Lucian's pack intercepted one of her scouts. Scout? Serafina's hand shook slightly, whiskey sloshed. Lucian's face was grim. A demon, possessing a homeless man downtown. We caught it asking questions about legal assistance at Hastings' law firm. Specifically about you. The room tilted. She's been watching me? For 2 years, we believe. 2 years, since she started working at Hastings. Wi-Fi. Dominic sat across from her. Because Morgana is patient, she suspected a caller might emerge in Seattle. The frequency patterns, the ley lines, they all pointed here. So she waited, watched. And when you finally called me, she knew. But how? How did she know I'd call you? Silence. Then Lucian spoke. Because someone was feeding her information. Someone close to you. Serafina's blood went cold. Marlowe? No, she would never. Not Marlowe, Dominic said quietly. Vivian Cross. The whiskey glass slipped from Serafina's fingers. It hit the floor, shattered. Amber liquid spread across dark wood. What? Dominic's expression was gentle, pitying. I had my people investigate everyone in your life. Vivian Cross has been receiving payments, $50,000 a month, from an offshore account, traced back to Morgana Ash. Serafina couldn't breathe. No, that's not. She's just cruel. She's not. She's a spy, Lucian said bluntly. Has been since before you were hired. Morgana planted her at the firm, told her to make your life hell, break you down, make you desperate, so that when the opportunity came, when you accidentally called the shadow line, you'd be vulnerable, easy to control. All those years, the humiliation, the files thrown at her face, the public mockery, it was planned, all of it. Serafina stood. The room spun. I'm going to kill her. Get in line, Lucian muttered. Dominic rose too, steadied her with a hand on her elbow. You will do no such thing. Vivian is a pawn. Morgana is the threat. I don't care. She made my life hell for 2 years. For money, she's human, Dominic interrupted. Fragile, mortal. And if you kill her, you become exactly what the council fears. A caller who uses power for revenge. She deserves it. Yes, but you deserve better than becoming the killer. Serafina pulled away from him, paced. Her mind was racing. 2 years of torment, and it was all fake, all manipulation. What does Morgana want? She asked finally. Dominic exchanged a look with Lucian. Tell me, Serafina demanded. Resonance crept into her voice. The windows rattled. Lucian whistled low. She's strong. She is, Dominic agreed. Then to Serafina. Morgana wants you to summon the first one. What is that? An ancient vampire, older than me, older than civilization. There are 7 of them buried beneath the continents, sleeping. If awakened, they would be nearly unstoppable. Why would she want that? Revenge. Dominic's voice was heavy, tired. 100 years ago, I killed someone she loved. My own brother, Adrian. The council ordered his death, and I obeyed. Serafina stopped pacing. You killed your brother. Yes. Why? Because the council demanded it. Because Adrian had fallen in love with a caller, with Morgana, and their union threatened the balance of power. So the council ordered me to execute him, and I did. Duty over love, loyalty over family. The pain in his voice was raw, real. Morgana survived, he continued. Barely. She watched me kill Adrian, and she swore revenge. She turned herself into a witch, studied dark magic for a century, and now she wants to use you to summon the first one. To unleash it on me, on my city, to destroy everything I've built. Can't you just stop her? You're powerful. Not against a witch of her caliber. She has protections, wards. I cannot find her, cannot kill her. He met Serafina's eyes. But she will come for you, soon. And when she does, you need to be ready. Ready how? Level 3 commands, Dominic said. Reality bending, the power to unmake. To destroy, to protect yourself when I cannot. Lucian stood. I have to get back to my pack, but I'll have wolves watching your apartment. Both of you. He looked at Serafina. Don't go anywhere alone. Morgana's scouts are everywhere. He left. Serafina and Dominic stood in the broken glass and spilled whiskey. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For what? For bringing you into this. If you had never called me, I'd still be picking up papers off the floor. Still be invisible. Still be living half a life. She stepped closer. Glass crunched under her shoes. I don't regret calling you, Dominic. Even knowing what I know now, I don't regret it. He looked at her. Really looked at her, like he was memorizing her face. You should. Well, I don't. Now teach me level 3, because I'm not going to be Morgana's weapon. I'm going to be her nightmare. For the first time since Lucian's news, Dominic smiled. You already are. Day 8. The video call that changed everything. Serafina was practicing level 3 commands on inanimate objects, making a glass of water boil with just her voice, freezing it solid, shattering it into dust. Dominic watched, corrected her form, her breathing. Then his phone rang. Not a normal ring, a deep, resonant tone, like a church bell. He looked at the screen. His face went pale, paler than usual. What? Serafina asked. It's them. Who? Your parents. The room stopped. Dominic answered, tapped the screen, set the phone on the table. A video feed appeared, and there they were, a man and a woman. Both looked to be in their late 40s, but their eyes were old, tired, haunted. The man had dark hair streaked with gray, kind eyes, a jaw that looked like Serafina's. The woman had her bone structure, her nose, her mouth, but her hair was lighter, auburn, and her eyes were the same storm gray as the voice on the phone 20 years ago. Serafina couldn't breathe. Sarah? The woman whispered. Tears streamed down her face. Oh my God, look at you, you're so grown up. Mom? Serafina's voice cracked. Yes, baby, it's me. It's us. The man, her father, stepped closer to the camera. Hi, sweetheart. You probably don't remember us. You were so little when we left. I remember. Serafina's cheeks were wet. When had she started crying? I remember you reading to me. Good night, Moon. You did all the voices. Us, Daniel Winters broke. Full body sobs. Celeste wrapped her arms around him. We're so sorry, Celeste said. We're so sorry. We never wanted to leave you. But the council, Dominic told me, Serafina said, you were protecting me. Yes, but that doesn't make it hurt less. Doesn't make it right. Where are you? Prague, in a facility run by the council. We've been here for 3 years. Before that, we were in hiding for 17. Why are they letting you call me now? Silence. Dominic spoke. Because Morgana freed them. 2 days ago, she staged a raid on the facility, killed the guards, opened the cells. Your parents escaped. Hope flared in Serafina's chest. Then you're free. No, Daniel said heavily. We're not free. Morgana has us. She's holding us in an old castle outside Prague, and she'll kill us if you don't do what she wants. The hope died. What does she want? Celeste looked off camera, at someone Serafina couldn't see, then back at the screen. She wants you to come to Seattle Underground, alone, tomorrow night, midnight. She says if you don't, she'll kill us. Slowly. Serafina looked at Dominic. His face was stone. Don't do it, Sarah, Daniel said urgently. Don't give her what she wants. We're already dead. We've been dead for 20 years. Don't throw your life away for the feed cut off, replaced by a different face. A woman, beautiful, ageless, dark hair, violet eyes, sharp features that looked carved from ice. Hello, little caller, Morgana Ash said. Her voice was silk and poison. I've been waiting for you. Serafina's hands clenched. Let them go. Why would I do that? They're excellent leverage, and you're going to do exactly what I say, because if you don't, I'll send you pieces of them, starting with fingers, then ears. Then, I'll kill you, Serafina said. Resonance built in her chest. The table rattled. The windows cracked. Morgana laughed. Oh, darling, you can't kill what you can't reach. And I'm very well protected. Now, tomorrow, midnight, Seattle Underground, the old sunken garden beneath Pioneer Square. Come alone. Bring Dominic, and I kill them. Bring the wolf, and I kill them. Bring anyone, and I kill them. How do I know they're alive? Morgana tilted the camera, showed a dark stone room, chains on the walls, and in those chains, Daniel and Celeste Winters, alive, bloody, terrified. Mom, Dad! Dad! Morgana turned the camera back to herself. Midnight caller, don't be late, and do think about what you're going to summon for me. The first one beneath Seattle is particularly hungry. The call ended. Serafina screamed. Pure rage, pure grief. The windows didn't just crack. They exploded. Glass showered the room. The wind rushed in, cold, vicious. Dominic grabbed her, pulled her close. Serafina, breathe, breathe. But she couldn't. The resonance was out of control, unchecked. Furniture rattled. Books flew off shelves. Dominic did the only thing he could. He kissed her. Not gentle, not soft, hard, desperate, a shock to her system. The resonance stuttered, stopped. Serafina gasped against his mouth. He pulled back, just an inch. Breathe, he said again. Quieter. His forehead pressed to hers. She breathed. The room settled. Glass littered the floor. Papers scattered everywhere. I have to go, Serafina whispered. I have to save them. It's a trap. I don't care. She'll kill you. Then you'll have one less caller to worry about. Dominic gripped her shoulders. Listen to me. I have lived a very long time. I have seen countless people die. Loved ones, friends, family, and every single time I told myself it was necessary. It was duty. It was survival. But I will not watch you walk into that chamber knowing I could have stopped you. You can't stop me. No, but I can come with you. She'll kill my parents. She'll kill them anyway. This is Morgana. She doesn't forgive, doesn't show mercy. She wants revenge. On me, on everyone I care about. And now that includes you. Serafina pulled away. I can do this. You trained me. I have the power. Power means nothing without control. And you just shattered 68 floors of windows because you were angry. She flinched. He was right. Then what do I do? She asked helplessly. Dominic cupped her face, both hands, cold against her tear-stained cheeks. You trust me. You let me protect you. And we go together. Because I did not spend 10 days training you to lose you to a witch with a vendetta. But my parents, we will save them. I swear it. But we do it smart, not reckless. Serafina wanted to argue, wanted to scream that she could handle this alone. But she couldn't. She was 24 years old, a legal assistant turned caller, against a century-old witch with dark magic and a personal vendetta. She needed Dominic. Okay, she whispered. Together. Together, he agreed. He kissed her forehead. Gentle this time, then stepped back. We have 24 hours. We prepare. Lucian and his pack will help. And tomorrow night we go into the dark, and we end this. Serafina looked at the shattered windows, the destroyed room, the evidence of her power. I'm afraid, she admitted. Good. Fear keeps you sharp, keeps you alive. He tilted her chin up, met her eyes. But you are not alone in this, not anymore. Outside, the city glittered. 68 floors below, people lived their normal lives, unaware of the battle about to begin. Serafina took a breath, felt the resonance settle in her bones. Tomorrow she would face a witch, would fight for her parents, would either save them or die trying. But tonight, she stood in a broken room with a vampire who looked at her like she was the son he'd been missing for 300 years. And she realized something. She wasn't invisible anymore. She was the storm. Marlowe arrived at midnight, Lucian with her. They'd been together when Dominic's emergency call came through. Serafina told them everything. The video call, Morgana's demand, the plan. Marlowe's face went white. You're walking into a trap. I know. You could die. I know. And you're going anyway. They're my parents, Marlowe. Marlowe grabbed her hands, squeezed tight. Then I'm coming too. No. Yes, you're my best friend, my sister. If you're walking into hell, I'm coming with you. End of discussion. Lucian stepped forward. My pack will secure the perimeter. Seattle Underground has multiple exits. We'll cover them all. If things go bad, you run. We'll hold them off. You'd do that? Serafina asked. Risk your pack for me? Morgana killed 6 of my wolves last month, possessed them with demons, and made them tear each other apart. This is personal for me too. Dominic looked at Lucian. Some silent understanding passed between them. We go in at 11:30, 30 minutes early. Catch her off guard. She'll expect that, Lucian said. Yes, but she's arrogant. She'll think she's prepared. She's not prepared for a caller with level 3 commands. They all looked at Serafina. She felt the weight of their stares, the expectation. I won't let you down, she said. Dominic's eyes softened. I know. They planned through the night, strategies, backup plans, escape routes. By dawn, Serafina was exhausted, terrified, ready. Marlowe hugged her. Whatever happens, I love you. I love you too. Lucian nodded, respect in his eyes. See you in the underground, caller. He left. Marlowe followed, leaving Serafina and Dominic alone in the destroyed room. You should rest, he said. I can't. I'm too wired. Then come here. He sat on the couch, patted the space beside him. She sat. He pulled her against his side. Cold, solid, safe. When this is over, he said quietly, when your parents are free and Morgana is dealt with, what will you do? I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. Think about it now. She closed her eyes, listened to his slow heartbeat. I think I'd like to stay. Keep training. Learn everything about being a caller. Maybe help others like me. There are no others like you, Serafina. You're unique. Then maybe I'll help people who feel invisible, who've been stepped on, underestimated. Show them they're worth something. Dominic's arm tightened around her. You're going to change the world. I just want to change my world. Make it less lonely. It doesn't have to be lonely, not anymore. She looked up at him. Promise? I promise. If you survive tomorrow, when you survive tomorrow, I will make sure you never feel invisible again. She believed him. Outside, the sun rose, pale, cold, another Seattle morning. But Serafina felt different. She wasn't the girl who picked up papers off the floor anymore. She was the caller who shattered windows with her grief, the woman who would walk into darkness to save her family, the storm that was coming for Morgana Ash. Tomorrow night, the city would see what happened when you underestimated Serafina Winters, and it would never make that mistake again. 11:30 p.m., November 21st. Serafina Winters stood at the entrance to Seattle Underground. Pioneer Square stretched behind her. Tourist shops, cobblestone streets, the normal world. Ahead, stairs descended into darkness, into the old city, the bones beneath the skin. She wore black, jeans, boots, a leather jacket Dominic had given her. Protection, he'd said, spelled by a friendly witch. Won't stop everything, but it'll help. Dominic stood beside her, also in black. He looked carved from shadow, ancient, dangerous. Marlowe was 20 feet back, watching, waiting. She'd argued to come closer. Dominic had refused. If this goes wrong, someone needs to survive to tell the story. Lucian and his wolves circled the square, invisible to normal eyes, but Serafina could feel them. Heat signatures against the cold November night. Ready? Dominic asked. No, she would never be ready. Yes, she said. They descended. The Seattle Underground was a maze, tunnels and chambers, storefronts sealed behind glass. Sidewalks that once saw daylight now buried beneath modern streets. The city had burned in 1889. When they rebuilt, they built up, raised the streets, left the old city below to rot. Now it was a tourist attraction. Guided tours, historical plaques, safe, sanitized. But they weren't going to the tourist areas. Dominic led her deeper, past the roped-off sections, through doors marked no entry, downstairs that crumbled under their feet. The air grew colder, damper. It smelled like earth and decay and something else, something ancient, magic. Serafina felt it on her skin, prickling, wrong. She's warded the entire area, Dominic said quietly. His voice echoed off stone walls. Blood magic, strong. Can you break through? Not without alerting her. We proceed carefully. They walked deeper. The tunnel opened into a chamber, massive, cathedral-sized, the sunken garden. It had been a courtyard once, before the fire, before the rebuild. Trees had grown here, gardens had bloomed. Now it was a nightmare. The walls were stone, dripping with moisture, moss-covered. But the moss glowed, faint, sickly green. In the center of the chamber stood a structure, not quite a building, not quite ruins, stone pillars wrapped with vines. But these vines were black, pulsing, alive, and suspended among the vines, wrapped like insects in a web, were two people, Daniel and Celeste Winters. Serafina's breath caught. Mom, Dad. Her voice came out broken. They were alive, barely, heads hanging, blood on their clothes, chains wrapped around their wrists, anchored to the stone pillars. Don't. Dominic's hand on her arm, firm. It's a trap. The moment you step forward, she'll spring it. I can't just stand here. You must. A laugh echoed through the chamber. Female. Cold. Beautiful in a terrible way. Oh, let her come forward, Dominic. Don't be rude. Morgana Ash stepped from the shadows. She was stunning. Serious. Dark hair cascaded down her back. Violet eyes that seemed to glow. She wore a dress that looked made of shadow. It moved like liquid. Behind her, shapes emerged. Shadow creatures. Dozens of them. Human-shaped but wrong. Twisted. Their eyes were empty voids. And beside Morgana, standing perfectly still, was Vivian Cross. Seraphina's rage ignited. You. Vivian flinched, but said nothing. Her eyes were glassy, unfocused. She can't hear you, Morgana said. She walked closer. Graceful. A predator circling. I have her mind locked. She's been my puppet for 2 years. Quite useful. Breaking you down, making you desperate. She played her part beautifully. Let her go, Seraphina said. Why? She's human, expendable. Morgana smiled. It was a cruel expression. Besides, you should be thanking her. Without her torment, you never would have been desperate enough to call the shadow line. You'd still be a pathetic little assistant. Invisible. Worthless. Dominic stepped forward. Enough, Morgana. You have what you want. The caller is here. Release the Winters family. Release them? Morgana's laugh was like breaking glass. Oh, Dominic. You really think I brought you all here for a trade? How naive. She raised her hand. The black vines around Daniel and Celeste tightened. They gasped. Choked. Stop! Seraphina screamed. Command me, Morgana purred. Go ahead. Use that pretty voice. Try to make me obey. Seraphina felt the resonance build, felt the power rising. Release them, she said, layered it, pushed it with everything she had. The command hit Morgana like a physical blow. The witch stumbled, her eyes widened. Then she smiled. Strong, very strong, but I've been preparing for a century, little caller. I have wards carved into my bones. Your voice cannot touch me. She gestured. The shadow creatures surged forward. Dominic moved faster than light. He met them head on, tore through them with bare hands. Black ichor sprayed. The creatures screamed. Inhuman sounds. But more kept coming. Seraphina backed toward the wall, focused on Vivian. Vivian Cross, she commanded. Wake up! Wake up! Vivian's eyes snapped into focus. Terror filled them. What? Where? Run, Seraphina said. Not a command, an order. Get out of here. Ish! Now! Vivian ran, stumbled toward the tunnels, disappeared into darkness. Morgana laughed. Letting her escape? How merciful. And foolish. She was a victim, Seraphina said. Just like me. Oh, you think you're a victim? Morgana walked closer. The shadow creatures gave her a wide berth. You have no idea what victimhood is. Let me show you. She raised both hands. The air shimmered, twisted. A memory appeared, projected like a hologram. Solid, real. A field, wildflowers, sunlight. A man knelt in the grass, young, handsome, dark hair, kind eyes. Adrian Kane. Beside him a woman, younger, radiant, in love. Morgana, 100 years ago. I was a caller, the projection, Morgana said. Her voice echoed. Just like you, powerful, feared. But Adrian didn't fear me, he loved me. The memory shifted. A courtroom, dark, medieval. The council sat in judgment, hooded figures, ancient, powerful. Your union is forbidden, one of them intoned. A caller and a vampire. The offspring would be unstoppable, unkillable, a threat to all. Adrian stood, defiant. Then kill me, but leave her alone. The council's response. We grant your request. The memory shifted again. A forest, night, rain. Adrian ran. Morgana chased him. Please, we can hide. They'll never find us. But someone stepped from the trees. Dominic Kane. Younger, but the same cold eyes, the same carved stone face. Brother, Adrian said, voice breaking. Please, don't do this. Dominic's sword was already drawn. I have no choice. The council has spoken. You always have a choice. Not this time. The sword swung. Adrian's head fell. Morgana screamed. The sound was inhuman. Can he given voice? She ran to Adrian's body, cradled it. Blood soaked her dress. Dominic stood watching, emotionless. I'm sorry, it was necessary. Necessary? Morgana's voice shattered. You killed your own brother. For what? For their laws? For their fear? For order. For balance. I will make you suffer, Morgana whispered. For eternity. I swear it. The memory dissolved. Serafina stood frozen, tears on her cheeks. Dominic hadn't moved, but his face was devastated, raw. I was wrong, he said quietly. I have carried that sin for a century. I cannot undo it, cannot fix it. All I can do is try to be better. Morgana's eyes blazed. Better? You think protecting this caller makes up for murdering my love? Nothing you do will ever be enough. She thrust her hand forward. Purple energy shot out, aimed at Dominic, but Serafina was faster. Shield! The command erupted from her. Level 3. Reality bending. A wall of pure force materialized. Invisible. Solid. The purple energy hit it. Exploded. The shockwave knocked everyone back. Morgana staggered. Impossible. You shouldn't be able to. I'm not your weapon, Serafina said. Power thrummed in her voice, in her blood. And I'm not going to let you use grief as an excuse for murder. Excuse? Morgana's face twisted. Rage and pain. He took everything from me. I know. Serafina stepped forward, hands raised, not in threat, in offering. I know what loss feels like. My parents were taken from me for 20 years. I know rage. I know grief. I know wanting revenge. Then you understand? I understand that revenge won't bring Adrian back, won't heal you. It'll just make you into the monster the council feared. Morgana's eyes filled with tears. Purple. Glowing. What else is there? She whispered. Peace, let them go. Serafina gestured to her parents. Let us all go. Walk away. Find another path. There is no other path. There is. I'm offering it to you. Silence. Then Morgana laughed. Broken. Bitter. You're too kind, little caller. It will get you killed. She snapped her fingers. The black vines around Daniel and Celeste constricted. Crushed. They screamed. Serafina didn't think. Didn't plan. She commanded. Release! But not aimed at Morgana, aimed at the grief, the pain, the century of suffering wrapped around the witch's heart. The resonance exploded outward. It hit Morgana like a tidal wave. The witch's eyes went wide, her mouth opened in a silent scream, and the darkness around her shattered. The shadow creatures dissolved. The black vines withered. The purple glow in her eyes faded. Morgana fell to her knees and she sobbed. Real tears. Human tears. I can't feel it anymore. The rage, the hate, it's gone. Serafina walked to her, knelt beside her, took her hand. It's not gone. It's released. You're free now. Morgana looked at her, and for the first time in 100 years she looked young, vulnerable, lost. What have I done? She whispered. You survived. Now you get to choose what comes next. Morgana pulled her hand away, stood on shaking legs. She looked at Dominic. I can't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I don't deserve forgiveness, he said. No, you don't. She turned to Serafina. But you do. Thank you for showing me there's more than vengeance. She raised her hand. The chains around Daniel and Celeste dissolved. They collapsed. Dominic caught Celeste. Serafina caught Daniel. Dad, I'm here. Daniel's eyes opened, focused on her face. Sarah? Yes, I'm here. You're safe. He started crying. My little girl, look at you, so strong. Celeste was awake too, reaching for Serafina. Baby, my baby. They held each other, all three, a family reunited. Morgana watched, something like longing on her face. Then she stepped back, into shadow. Where will you go? Serafina asked. Away, far from here, far from the memories. She looked at Dominic one last time. Maybe someday I'll find peace, but not today. She vanished. The chamber fell silent, except for the sound of a family crying, together. They emerged from the underground an hour later. Marlo was waiting. She ran to Serafina, hugged her so hard ribs creaked. You're alive. Oh God, you're alive. Lucian's wolves had caught Vivian trying to escape. She was on her knees, surrounded, terrified. Serafina walked to her. Vivian looked up. Mascara streaked, expensive suit dirty. Please, she whispered. I didn't want to. She made me. She controlled me. I know, Serafina said. You do? Yes, but that doesn't erase what you did. The pain you caused, the humiliation. Vivian's face crumpled. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Serafina felt the resonance build, could command Vivian to suffer, to feel every bit of pain she'd inflicted. But she didn't. You're going to turn yourself in, she said, calm, firm, embezzlement, conspiracy, everything. You're going to confess. They'll send me to prison. Yes, and you'll serve your time. And maybe someday you'll become someone better than the woman who threw files at people's faces. Vivian nodded, broken, defeated. Lucian's wolves escorted her to a waiting police car. Sirens wailed in the distance. Dominic approached. You could have destroyed her. I could have, but then I'd be no better than Morgana was. He smiled, proud. You're extraordinary. I'm tired. Then let me take you home. Which home? He paused. Wherever you feel safe. Serafina looked at her parents, still weak, still healing, but alive. Kane Tower, she said, all of us. We have 20 years to catch up on. 3 days later, the Grand Hall. Dominic Kane had called a gathering, the Vampire Court, 1,000 immortals from across the Western Territories. They filled the massive chamber, ancient, powerful, curious. At the front, on a throne of black marble, sat Dominic. Beside him by a second throne, empty. Serafina stood in the antechamber, waiting. She wore a gown, deep crimson, the color of blood. It fit perfectly. Marlowe had helped her into it. You look like a queen, Marlowe said. I feel like I'm going to throw up. Queens probably feel that way too sometimes. Dominic appeared in the doorway. He wore formal attire, black, severe, regal. They're ready, Serafina took a breath. I'm not sure I am. You are. You've always been ready. You just didn't know it. He offered his arm. She took it. They walked into the grand hall together. 1,000 faces turned to watch. Silence fell. Dominic led her to the thrones. He sat. She stood. You all know why I called this gathering, Dominic said. His voice carried, filled the space. For 300 years, I have ruled alone, built this city, protected our kind, maintained the balance. He stood, took Serafina's hand. But I am done being alone. This woman, Serafina Winters, she is a caller, the first in 70 years. She has power beyond measure, could command any of us to kneel, to obey, to die. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, nervous, afraid. But she won't, Dominic continued, because she has something more important than power. She has compassion, mercy, strength tempered with kindness. She faced a witch bent on revenge and chose peace, faced an enemy and offered freedom. He turned to Serafina, went down on one knee. The crowd gasped. Serafina Winters, I offer you my blood, my name, my throne. Be my partner, my equal, my queen. Serafina's eyes filled with tears. Dominic, you don't have to answer now, but know this. I have lived 347 years, and I have never met anyone like you. You make me want to be better, to build something new, a court based not on fear but on respect, not on domination but on protection. He pulled a ring from his pocket, black obsidian, silver band. Will you stand beside me? Serafina looked at the crowd, 1,000 immortals, waiting. She looked at her parents, sitting in the front row. Her father had tears on his cheeks. Her mother was smiling. She looked at Marlowe, who gave her a thumbs up. She looked at Dominic, this impossible man, this vampire who'd killed his brother and carried the guilt for a century, who'd trained her, protected her, looked at her like she was the sun. Yes, she said. He slid the ring onto her finger. The crowd erupted, not in cheers, in a slow, rhythmic sound, hands on chests, over hearts. Thump, thump, thump. The vampire salute. Dominic stood, led Serafina to the second throne. She sat. A crown was brought forward. Not gold, obsidian, carved with symbols older than language. Dominic placed it on her head. All hail, he said, Serafina Kane, Blood Queen of the Western Territories. All hail, the crowd echoed, and they knelt, every single one. 1,000 immortals bowing to a 24-year-old former legal assistant. Serafina felt the weight of the crown, the weight of their stares, the weight of responsibility. But she also felt something else, purpose. She stood. The crowd quieted. I never wanted power, she said. Her voice carried, resonated. I wanted to be seen, to matter, to not be invisible. And you've given me that, but I don't want to rule through fear. I want to build something better. A court where everyone is seen, where no one is thrown away for being different, where we protect the vulnerable instead of preying on them. She looked at Dominic. We do this together, equal partners. I'll bring the compassion if you bring the strength. He smiled. We'll both bring both. She turned back to the court. Those who want to be part of this new world, stay. Those who don't, leave. But know this, Seattle is changing, and I'm done being underestimated. No one moved. No one left. They stayed. All of them. And when Serafina sat back down, hand in Dominic's, she realized something. She'd spent her whole life feeling worthless, invisible, trash. But she was none of those things. She was a queen. The party afterward was lavish. Music, wine, laughter. Serafina stood on the balcony, looking out at Seattle. The city lights sparkled like stars. Her mother joined her, Celeste Winters, still thin, still healing, but alive. Your father and I are so proud, she said softly. I'm sorry you had to suffer for so long. Don't be. We chose to protect you. And look at you now, a queen, changing the world. I'm just trying to make things better. That's how change happens. One person deciding to be better. They stood in comfortable silence. Then Celeste said, I have something for you. She pulled a small book from her pocket, leather-bound, ancient. This was my mother's, and her mother's before that. It's a grimoire, caller techniques passed down through generations. I was supposed to give it to you when you turned 18, but you were gone. Yes, but I'm here now. She pressed the book into Serafina's hands. Learn from it, add to it, pass it on. Serafina opened it. The pages were filled with handwriting, different styles, different languages, generations of callers. On the first page, an inscription, we are not cursed, we are not weapons, we are voices. And voices can heal, can protect, can change everything. Tears slipped down Serafina's cheeks. Thank you, Mom. Celeste hugged on her. Thank you for saving us, for being brave, for being you. Inside, the party continued. Dominic was talking with Lucian, some negotiation about territory and mutual protection. Marlo was dancing with one of the younger vampires. She looked happy, alive. Daniel was laughing with Renfield, talking about gardening, apparently. Everything was perfect. Except Serafina felt it, a prickling on the back of her neck. She turned. In the doorway, watching, was a messenger, holding an envelope. For Queen Serafina, the messenger said. Bowed, left. Serafina opened it. Inside, a single card, expensive, embossed. The European Council requests an audience. We have heard of your coronation. We wish to discuss the future of callers in the New World. We will arrive in Seattle within the month. Signed, High Chancellor Vladimir Drekov. Serafina's hand tightened on the card. Dominic appeared beside her, right over her shoulder. They're coming, he said. Yes. Are you afraid? She thought about it, about the girl she'd been 3 weeks ago, picking up papers off the floor, invisible, worthless. That girl would have been terrified, but she wasn't that girl anymore. No, she said, let them come. We'll be ready. Dominic smiled, fierce, proud. Yes, we will. He took her hand, led her back inside, to the party, to her parents, to Marlo, to her new life. Serafina Winters, Serafina Kane, looked around the room. At the vampires who'd knelt for her, at the friends who'd fought beside her, at the family she'd thought lost forever. She wasn't invisible. She was the storm, and Seattle would never be the same. The coffee shop on Pine Street looked the same. Chipped mugs, worn tables, the barista who knew orders by heart. But everything was different. Serafina sat across from Marlo. Same table they'd always used. But now Serafina wore designer clothes, a ring that cost more than the entire shop. A crown, metaphorical now, but real enough, resting on her head. So, Marlo said, sipping her vanilla latte, Queen life, how's that going? Exhausting, rewarding, terrifying, amazing. All at once? All at once. Marlo grinned. And Dominic? Serafina blushed. He's wonderful, patient, kind. He teaches me something new every day. And the blood bond thing, you decided? Not yet. The offer stood. Immortality. Forever with Dominic, but also forever hungry, forever cold, forever watching humans age and die. I'm thinking about it, Serafina said. I have time. Do you? Marlo's voice was gentle. I mean, I'm not rushing you. But girl, you're aging. He's not. Eventually. I know. Serafina's throat tightened. But I want to make sure it's what I really want. Not just because I'm afraid of dying. Fair. They drank in silence. Then Marlo said, I got offered a job, head nurse. Harbor View expansion. That's amazing. Yeah, but it's full-time, nights. I won't be able to be your bodyguard anymore. Serafina laughed. You were never my bodyguard. I was totally your bodyguard, but seriously, you'll be okay without me hovering? I have a literal vampire king who hovers enough for both of you. True. Marlowe's phone buzzed. She checked it, smiled. Lucian? Serafina asked. Maybe. You two are adorable. We're taking it slow. He's immortal. I'm not. We're figuring it out. Sounds familiar. They laughed. Outside, the rain had stopped. Rare for Seattle, sunlight broke through clouds. Weak. Winter sunlight, but light nonetheless. Serafina's phone rang. Dominic, the council's plane just landed. They'll be at Kane Tower in an hour. Her stomach tightened. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She hung up, looked at Marlowe. Time to face the music? Time to face the music. They stood, hugged. You've got this, Marlowe said. You're the woman who shattered windows with grief and chose mercy over revenge. Some old vampires from Europe, please. Serafina smiled. Thanks for everything. Always. Serafina left the coffee shop. Her driver, not Renfield, someone new, waited by the car. She looked back at the shop, at the normal world she used to live in. It felt like a lifetime ago. She got in the car. At Kane Tower, Dominic was waiting. So were her parents, Lucian, a dozen of the most powerful vampires in the West. They were assembled in the war room. Strategic. Ready. Chancellor Drakov and his entourage arrived exactly on time. They were ancient, powerful, intimidating, but Serafina had faced down a witch bent on revenge, had commanded truth from a vampire king, had freed her parents from impossible captivity. She could handle some old politicians. The Chancellor entered, tall, regal, gray hair, eyes like winter. Queen Serafina, he said, voice accented. Russian, maybe. We meet at last. Chancellor Drakov, welcome to Seattle. They sat. Negotiations began. The council wanted control, wanted callers registered, monitored, limited. Serafina refused. Callers aren't weapons, she said. Firm, unwavering. We're people, and we deserve freedom. Unchecked callers are dangerous. Unchecked anything is dangerous. But oppression creates monsters. Freedom creates allies. The debate went on for hours. Finally, Drakov leaned back, studied her. You are not what I expected. What did you expect? A frightened girl playing queen, but you are neither frightened nor playing. No, I'm not. He smiled, slight, grudging respect. Very well. We will observe. The Western territories will remain autonomous, under your rule. But if callers become a threat, they won't, not under my watch. We shall see. The council left. When the door closed, Dominic turned to Serafina. You just told the most powerful supernatural organization in the world to back off. Yes. And they listened. Yes, he kissed her. Deep, proud, full of promise. When they pulled apart, he rested his forehead against hers. I love you, he said. I have lived 347 years, and I have never said those words to anyone. But I love you, Serafina Kane. Her heart stopped, started, raced. I love you too. They stood in the war room, surrounded by maps and strategy and the weight of leadership. But for that moment, they were just two people. In love, against impossible odds. So, Dominic said, what now? Serafina thought about the future, the council, the challenges ahead, but also about the possibilities, the changes she could make, the people she could help. Now, she said, we build something new, a world where people like me aren't hunted, where power is used to protect, where nobody ever has to feel invisible again. Together, always together. Outside, the city hummed, alive, vibrant, changing. And at the top of Kane Tower, a queen and a king looked out at their domain, not with dominance, with hope. Because Serafina Winters had learned something in her journey from invisible to invincible. Power wasn't about forcing people to kneel. It was about lifting them up. And she would spend the rest of her life, however long that was, making sure everyone knew they mattered, starting with herself.